I'm continuing my reading here. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This includes the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Right now, I am still in the first book of Samuel. This is chapter 23. David smites Philistines and saves Keilah. He continues to flee from Saul. Jonathan comforts him in Ziph. Then they told David, saying, Behold, the Philistines fight against Keilah, and they rob the threshing floors. Therefore David inquired of the Lord, saying, Shall I go and smite these Philistines? And the Lord said unto David, Go and smite the Philistines, and save Keilah. And David's men said unto him, Behold, we be afraid here in Judah. How much more then if we come to Keilah against the armies of the Philistines? Then David inquired of the Lord yet again. And the Lord answered him and said, Arise, go down to Keilah, for I will deliver the Philistines into thine hand. So David and his men went to Keilah and fought with the Philistines, and brought away their cattle, and smote them with a great slaughter. So David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And it came to pass, when Abiathar the son of Ahimelech fled to David to Keilah, that he came down with an ephod in his hand. So apparently, in the last chapter we read how Saul killed all the priests of Nob, but the son of the high priest there, Ahimelech, his son Abiathar, fled and joined David. And this is saying that while all that was happening, David was out fighting the Philistines in Keilah, and just after he fought the Philistines, that's when Abiathar actually joined him. So it's two different stories, and the author is lining our timeline up for us. He's showing us how these two stories actually relate to each other in time. Anyways, verse 7. And it was told Saul that David was come to Keilah, and Saul said, God hath delivered him into mine hand, for he is shut in, by entering into a town that hath gates and bars. And Saul called all the people together to war, to go down to Keilah, to besiege David and his men. And David knew that Saul secretly practiced mischief against him, and he said to Abiathar the priest, Bring hither the ephod. Then said David, O Lord God of Israel, thy servant hath certainly heard that Saul seeketh to come to Keilah to destroy the city of for my sake. Will the men of Keilah deliver me up into his hand? Will Saul come down as thy servant hath heard? O Lord God of Israel, I beseech thee, tell thy servant. And the Lord said, He will come down. Then said David, Will the men of Keilah deliver me and my men into the hand of Saul? And the Lord said, They will deliver thee up. So David just delivered the town. He just saved the town from the Philistines, and God saying, Saul's coming for you, get out of there, because these men will turn against you. But I also find it interesting. See, Abiathar brought an ephod with him, which is the holy garments. Well, the ephod isn't the whole holy garment. It's a certain portion of the holy garments. I think it's like the breastplate piece. And David takes it and prays to God using the ephod, and he is answered by God. So David is receiving revelation directly from God. He doesn't have to go through the priests. Verse 13. Then David and his men, which were about 600, arose and departed out of Keilah, and went whithersoever they could go. And it was told Saul that David was escaped from Keilah, and he forbare to go forth. And David abode in the wilderness in strongholds, and remained in the mountain in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul sought him every day, but God delivered him not into his hand. And David saw that Saul was come out to seek his life. And David was in the wilderness of Ziph, in a wood. And Jonathan, Saul's son, arose and went to David into the wood, and strengthened his hand in God. And he said unto him, Fear not, For the hand of Saul my father shall not find thee, and thou shalt be king over Israel, and I shall be next unto thee. And that also Saul my father knoweth. And they two made a covenant before the Lord. And David abode in the wood, and Jonathan went to his house. So I like this. Not only is Jonathan a good friend of David, he is admitting that David is the next king. Saying, yes, you're going to be the next king. I don't mind. I'll be in your administration. I'll be one of your ministers. That's good. But my father knows that I am with you. So, they renew their covenant of friendship here. But anyways, we continue. 19. Verse 19. Then came up the Ziphites to Saul to Gibeah, saying, Doth not David hide himself with us in strongholds in the wood, in the hill of Keilah, which is on the south of Jeshimon? Now therefore, O king, come down according to all the desire of thy soul to come down, and our part shall be to deliver him into the king's hand. And Saul said, Blessed be ye of the Lord, for ye have compassion on me. Go, I pray you, prepare yet, and know and see his place where his haunt is, and who hath seen him there, for it is told me that he dealeth very subtly. See therefore, and take knowledge of all the lurking places where he hideth himself, and come ye again to me with the certainty. And I will go with you. And it shall come to pass, if he be in the land, that I will search him out throughout all the thousands of Judah. So the people of Ziph are turning David in. They're trying to court favor with the king. And they are, verse 24, And they arose and went to Ziph before Saul. But David and his men were in the wilderness of Maon, in the plain on the south of Jeshimon. Saul also and his men went to seek him, and they told David. Wherefore he came down into a rock and abode in the wilderness of Maon. And when Saul heard that, he pursued after David in the wilderness of Maon. And Saul went on this side of the mountain, and David and his men on that side of the mountain. And David made haste to get away for fear of Saul. For Saul and his men compassed David, and his men round about to take them. So this is fun. This is a little game of cat and mouse here, right? The Ziphites come and tell Saul, hey, he's hiding out in the woods down here in Jeshimon, in the wilderness with us in Ziph. And Saul says, right, you guys go spy him out, figure out where he is, I'm coming, and we'll go kill him together. But David gets word of it, and so David leaves, and he goes to Maon. Saul comes up, and he's starting to come, and he gets word, oh, David's not in Ziph anymore, he's down in Maon, so he goes down to Maon. And while he's coming down around the mountain on this side, David starts coming up the mountain on this side, and so they're circling around the mountain on either side of each other. David's a little worried because Saul has more men, but we got this great chase going on here. Let's finish this out. Verse 27. But there came a messenger unto Saul, saying, Haste thee, and come, for the Philistines have invaded the land. Wherefore Saul returned from pursuing after David, and went against the Philistines. Therefore they called that place Selah Hamalekoth. Selah Hamalekoth. And David went up from thence, and dwelt in strongholds at En-gedi. Selah Hamalekoth means, the translation here in the footnotes is the rock of divisions. Interesting. We're getting this game of cat and mouse between David and Saul, and it continues a little bit. But Saul, he is still he's fallen into wickedness. He is a murderer now, but he's still somewhat of a good king in that he gets word that his people are being attacked, and he puts off his personal grudges, his personal jealousies, to go and defend his people against inundation. So we should give him some credit for that. But we will continue the cat and mouse chase in the next chapter. I will see you then.